There's been some talk of censorship, maybe even removing a sitting member of Congress from my great state of the People's Republic of California stand. It's your buddy Mood Juice Magic here, and who I'm talking about, the person I'm talking about, the congressperson I'm talking about, is one Robert Garcia. Now, he was the youngest and first openly LGBTQ person that was the mayor of Long Beach, California, if serves me correctly. He's a goof who has not a whole lot of intellectual capacity, though I believe he was an educator. Now, in California, if you don't know, you can get a long way by being limp-wristed and having a foreign last name, and this fellow rode that wave all the way to his seating right now. Now, here's the issue. He said something that is really pissing people off and is calling for even the great Nancy Mace to have him censured in Congress, and possibly other people want him removed completely. Now let's hear what he had to say, and then I'll break down my thoughts on it, and you might be surprised at my conclusions. To clarify, I don't like this individual. I think this individual is a retard and a piece of human crap. So, just to clarify, I have no respect for this person. But you might be surprised on my thoughts after this video, so stick with me. Let's hear what this moron has to say.
For us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country, and it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. And so if she is going to make a mockery of hearings, I want to make sure that us as Democrats are bringing that same level of energy. And of course, after those comments, we went into exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do, dismantling the Department of Labor, dismantling the Department of Education, dismantling all of our consumer protection agencies. And so it's all important, but it's also important to get the attention of the American public and call Elon Musk out for what he is, and to make people know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a serious legislator, and she shouldn't be treated as such. For us to
All right, so here's the part that's first
bring actual weapons to this bar fight.
Play it one more time.
For us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy.
This is what's getting people to call for him to be censured and removed. First of all, don't attack Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's awesome. Second of all, here's where you guys might find my opinion a little surprising. I think that he didn't actually mean physical violent weapons. I don't think this poofda has it in him to get in a fight at all. I don't think he's calling for violence. I think what he's saying is we need to bring all of our best arguments. We forget that in our language, weapons, or in interaction in general, a weapon can be more than a gun, a knife, a baseball bat, your fists. It can be the way you think. It can be a good argument, which, I mean, they're disarmed on good arguments. They're disarmed on intellectual capacity. But those things can still be considered weapons. Strategy is a weapon. How you maneuver things is a form of weapon. And I think that's what he was getting at. I'm going to give him, and this is, I'm doing this because we're better than them. We should be on our toes at all times around these folks, the Democrats and the liberals and the leftists. But I want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt because I am better than him as a person. And because most of us are better than this asshole as a person. And if we're going to be in office and we're going to be in politics, we have to understand the nuances of language do make a difference. He is too stupid to understand the nuance of language. And that's what's happening here. I don't think he's making a threat or calling for violence. I think he's being too retarded to understand the nuance of what he said. I think he meant to sound intellectual and failed completely at it, considering the current mood, the zeitgeist, the spirit of the time is what that means for those who are unsure what zeitgeist is. I know liberals like to throw that around. Spirit of the time. And he is trying to speak in a way that makes himself sound good whilst completely forgetting. He's forgetting the environment that the Democrat Party has created over the years. He's completely forgetting the violence and insinuation and bullshit his party has created over the years. Is he being retarded? Absolutely. He's a fucking moron. Is he inciting violence? No, I don't think so. Now, when you have Nancy Mace going after you at all for anything, you're in trouble, bro, because she doesn't fuck around. That chick is tough as nails, and she is good at what she does. Okay, like, and if she says this might call for censorship, that's not a good sign, folks. Fella, that's not good for you. That's not going to bode well for you. What we should do, though, is remember, if we are conservatives, Republicans, or like me, who's a constitutionalist, kind of centered constitutionalist, we have to remember that we are the intellectual ones here. The idea of a democracy, though we live in a republic, it's a democratic republic. The idea of democratic thought and idealism comes from the old Greeks, and what they wanted to do was have intellectual conversations to verbally argue and spar back and forth and use reason and logic to find the best conclusion to where we're at. The founding fathers knew this when setting up our government. Unfortunately, we're still humans. We're still emotional creatures. So you have to balance out your emotion and logic. And it's increasingly difficult for poofdas like this guy and for most people, even on the Republican side, the right side versus the left side. There is a big problem when emotion gets too involved. I get emotional, but I also have to be rational. I have to take a break, pump the brakes at some point and say, wait, before I go too far in this, could I be wrong? Could what I'm saying be construed incorrectly? Could my emotion be taken? There have been many times when my wife and I have had a disagreement or something, and I've voiced my opinion, and I realized I worded it wrong, and it sounded much more terse and terrible than it was, and I immediately said, wait, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way. I apologize. I'm going to recheck. Self-awareness is incredibly important when you're doing something in office. This fellow has no self-awareness. He is self-absorbed. And he looks like a blobfish. Look, I look terrible and haggard as hell. This guy's older than me with a baby face like that. I don't even want to know how much lotion this dude puts on his skin because he does not want to get the hose again. Or maybe he does. He's LGBTQ, XYZ. I can't judge. I'm not against that. Be gay. I don't give a shit. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. But look, the fact of the matter is this. You can't go and expect to say shit like that out loud and not expect some fallback. This guy talks about Republicans inciting violence with their words. Brother, like, you just did the same shit on accident. How do you know that their shit was an accident? This guy should take this as a learning time. This should be a learning opportunity for Mr. Garcia to sit back and say, hey, I said that fucking wrong. And then say, hey, maybe when my colleagues on the other side of the aisle say something, I shouldn't take it out of context for the sake of causing problems, because the Democrat Party is the one that causes the violence, the rhetoric, the horribleness. Seeing the look on a person's face when they realize the Democrat Party founded the KKK, when the Democrat Party pushed against the civil rights movement, when the Democrat Party pushed for multi-level housing to force African Americans into it, when the Democrat Party pushed for abortion specifically to keep minority numbers down, when these people are faced with the facts, folks in general, the look on their face is one of enlightenment and encouragement that someone actually they didn't like is out there to still care about them. This guy doesn't have that compunction. This should be a learning experience for this man, and I don't think he's going to get there. I don't know that he's too far gone because I don't like to believe that. But he has a lot riding on where he's at right now. This guy probably doesn't mean 90% of the bullshit that comes out of his mouth, but that's what he has to say. He might mean some of the mean rhetoric. You get that a lot from the LGBTQ, XYZ people, but not always. I have a lot of gay friends that are totally chill. They don't give a fuck. I don't care how I vote. They know how I feel about them. I love them. and they should have the same rights as I do. I don't care about gay marriage. I give a shit about that. But when idiots are trying to push other shit, then it becomes an issue, and they know that. A man has to have a breaking point at some point. But when you take something and you're a sitting congressperson, you gotta met your words out a little more carefully if you are going to do the same shit to other people. And he says shit about other people and calls their words out of context. But I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt because I am better than him. Because I think he didn't mean that. And if he proves me wrong, then fuck this guy and censure him, remove him from Congress, lock his ass up. I don't think he meant that, though. And I can't believe I'm taking this guy's side because I don't like this piece of shit. I don't like this guy at all. But I'm not going to be doing the same shit his side does. I want to approach things intellectually, intelligently, and reason without passion. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think he meant it? Be polite, but let me know in the comments below if you think this idiot meant this. I don't think he did. He might have. He might have. If he did, then fuck that guy and let the shit hit the fan. My guess is that he was trying to sound more intellectual than his brain's actually capable of doing. Because when you speak to an audience, the best way to sound intelligent is to use simpler terms so everyone understands what the fuck you're saying. You dipshit. If he needs elocution lessons, he can come talk to me. He can buy me a beer. We'll sit down. I'd like to pick this guy's brain and know who he is as a person. And to know I'm not judging someone so harshly based on his stupidity and his track record. Because I think that individuals overall have the ability and capacity to be good people. I think he needs some learning. I think this guy who's older than me, he's almost 50 fucking years old, he should know a little fucking better. I know he doesn't look it. He looks like half my age. Look, I'm not pretty. I've had a hard life. So I'm able to speak like this and make these conclusions and have this open conversations without giving a shit what people think about me. He's not capable of thinking, I don't care what people think about me. Which is hella unfortunate because he's probably a great guy deep down as a person. And I think that he just needs to grow up a lot. But I think people need to get off his dick about it. I think that this was taken out of context. And I could be totally, totally wrong. If I'm wrong, then fucking gallows. If you want to bring weapons in, people get mad about that, but you forget we've actually had duels on the floor in Congress. History is a great thing, guys. Maybe we can get the fat electrician to talk about the duel in Congress. That'd be great. At least the one I know about. Anyway, I'm Moo Juice Magic. I love you in the face. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man. YouTube's kicking my ass right now. They don't like that I'm telling things like this. They don't like the rhetoric, I guess, as they would probably say it. They're kind of mad right now. But I could use the support. I only get support if you guys like the channel and subscribe, make comments, interact. You can disagree with me too. Just don't be a dick to anybody. You guys can disagree in my comments. Just don't be rude to each other. Okay, that's all I ask. Be polite. Have a polite conversation. Or call each other retards. I don't care. It's Moo Juice Magic. I'll tell you guys later. I'm gonna go do something that's not talking about politics for 5 freaking seconds.